Hey everyone, welcome back to a new gameplay. Today we're discussing military strategy on the Eastern Front, and if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Today we're in Combat Mission Red Thunder, so all my Graviteam viewers, this is an Eastern Front game, so it may be a good combat mission for you to check out if that's your jam. So the first thing we're going to do is discuss the battlefield. Right now we have a small recon platoon of T-34s. They're going to be followed up with a heavier 3rd Brigade of more T-34s and T-85s. But let's do a quick battlefield analysis. So my first thoughts is this map's blitzkrieg. So we should ideally secure this bridge so we can easily ferry units across this bridge and up this hill and secure this battle point. I don't think that's the wisest decision. We also have this left flank. While more exposed and we have to cross the water, I'm expecting much less resistance on this right side than I am on this bridge side. So now let's do like a real hardcore in-depth analysis of the battlefield and why I've come to this conclusion. So let's just start with the very obvious ambush right here. We have two T-70 light tanks Russian ambush. And we can come to that conclusion. One, because they're destroyed. Two, we also see a lot of peppering from significant sized shells. These are some pretty good sized craters. So I'd imagine these T-70s did not stand a chance. We can also assume that the way these are walked up, it came from this hillside over here across the bridge. So we are expecting significant anti-tank forces right there. We're also seeing some larger craters over here on the right sides of the tank. Right here and right here. So we can assume that, one, there could possibly be forces over here along this tree line, which there's are, because it looks like there's a trench line right there. And we can assume this heavy anti-tank over there. Alright, now next up, we can take a look and we can create another assumption is there's a road right here that goes all the way up to the middle of this hill. So we can assume that they've easily moved heavy equipment, heavy anti-tank, lots of troops, or just wood and supplies up here to fortify this position. And we can also assume over here that there may be a small fortified position due to the markings of the trench. And here we have a sandbag line. So ideally, the right side, it looks very significantly protected, and obviously our T-70s did not stand a chance from whatever forces over here. Now let's take a look at the peak of the hill, which overlooks this valley and provides keyhole view on this hillside, and we can assume there's some significant anti-tank focused on this position as well. So we need to be careful about how we position our tanks over here, because I'm looking at significant peppering and craters on the opposite side of this reverse slope. So we need to be careful that when approaching, not to expose our flanks and not to push over this hill too much. I'm not seeing really any significant ground damage, craters, or anything on this left side. Leads me to believe maybe there's less anti-tank in this area, or we haven't been assaulted, or we haven't assaulted on this left flank yet at the crossing point. I do see some minimal peppering. It looks like it could possibly be ours from indirect fire, some IDF. Also, I have an entrenched position. Looks like another sandbag line, so we can expect either machine guns or maybe an anti-tank. So we need to be careful approaching down this route as well. Next up, we have a small, from the looks of it, craters on the backside from indirect fire, a little fighting position over here. Two places, residence, a farm, and another sandbag line. So I'd imagine a counterattack would be coming down this road and up to reinforce any fighting position in this area. I also notice a road over here, which means they were easily, look, if we look here, we see a road going all the way down. So I can expect anti-tank equipment in this general vicinity. And let's see if we identify something over here. So I'm not seeing a road coming to this position, although it is right off the beaten path, not as direct, but I'd imagine there's some anti-tank on that area as well. Nothing significant over here, although we could just maybe suspect anti-tank or heavy resistance in these two positions, a marsh, and then a wide open field on the left side. My theory is, since it's a blitzkrieg, right side would be the fastest, most direct route. We could easily secure this area. We also have two positions of power right here that provide easy oversight where we could see the enemy. Although if we can see them, they can see us. So I would be hesitant to position tanks in this position. And I also remember there's a significant anti-tank threat on the right side. So positioning vehicles out here in this open is not going to work as well. So we're going to secure this left flank. I'm expecting far less resistance on this side. This should allow us to secure, at least get a foothold in this position and push the Germans off of it and down. So I think we just start off by repositioning our tanks. We will hold this area right here, shell this area with our tanks while we do some recon with our infantry up along this line. And then we will be we will be careful of this left flank over here since both our tanks, all three of our tanks flanks are going to be exposed. All right, so we'll get started and I'll follow up with you guys in a bit. So after some conflict right there, we've identified an actual So with some brief suppressive fire, our infantry were able to dismount under no enemy fire, but we also identified an enemy bunker in this position. This wasn't originally seen before, and it overlooks our tanks and our keyhole. So hopefully there's no anti-tank in this position, but what we're going to do is we're going to set up our tanks, and they've already taken some pot shots at it with their heavier guns, but they're on that hillside. But they were shooting while they were on the move. So we're going to take this tank right here, and we're going to range it specifically for this position, and we're going to breach this shell, this armor, with anti-tank round. And then we've actually begun dismounting our troops over here. So let's have them drop off and move right here. I don't want them to do anything. Nothing's been identified over here yet. I don't see anything, but I think we're going to put a tank round into this position anyway. Far we have no enemies identified on this hill other than this small bunker which we eliminated last turn, but we haven't reconned any units alongside this fence. We've also shelled this area over here with this sandbag pretty significantly. I don't think there's pretty much anyone alive there that would be alive, so I'm hesitant to assume, depending on the rounds, if they're firing HEs or high explosives. Also, we have some light machine gun fire over here, and we need to advance our secondary platoon right here. That's really taking their time, so I'm going to give them a fast move to get into position. I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to say move fast. I really want them to start getting on this hill. We're going to push this unit up just shy of this first crater. Alright guys, as the situation continues to develop, we actually got a significant amount of reinforcements, mostly just infantry. We have a few platoons of just plain infantry with some automatic weapons and a gunner, a couple of commanders, a sniper we're going to position up along this hillside, and then we got some significant anti-tank, which should be able to penetrate some of those bunkers and provide some suppression. So overall, a good round. We actually have a pretty good development with our tank columns. They're in position and they're basically hammering these positions over here, which is going pretty smoothly. We're going to adjust with some light fire. We actually have this area significantly suppressed, and we're going to push our first tank across the water, and we're going to see what happens. Basically, I'm not super comfortable with it because we do have this huge long line of sight right here that could prove to be fatal for our first T-34. We also, I'm assuming that there's no anti-tank beyond this radius right here. So I'm trying to push him outside of that, up the road, and then across. So we're going to see if we can sneak by, so let's just watch that in real time. Alright guys, while not ideal, our tank did get stuck in this and get bogged down. I mean, what else should we suspect? Our T-34s are basically useless on this left flank, but we do have a significant force over here backing us up. So I suggest we push our this continued assault. We're going to continue across this area right here. If we look over here, we can see that this tank can target any anti-tank over along that ridge. I imagine we could also take out this bunker. Now that we have our massive force in tow, we're ready to continue our assault. We have some snipers. We actually have a significant amount of flamethrowers. I'm not sure exactly what those are for. Maybe to thwart a defense from an offense from the Germans, but we've pretty easily destroyed these anti-infantry positions with both mortars and tanks. So let's get everyone in position. No casualties. Fortunately, we've destroyed 2 platoons over here. We've also eliminated 2 heavy fighting positions, good battle positions. We also have shelled a battle position over here pretty significantly. I don't think it's still standing, but you never know. Hopefully that shrapnel's penetrated the wall. Our T-34 that became bogged down in the river has successfully gotten free, and they've been hammering this battle position over here with some HEs, ensuring we don't get any crossfire down here, eliminating our tanks. We've also secured the right flank of this hillside, just short of all this peppering, remember? We don't want to go over that hill and expose ourselves to this significant area. We also hit this part with some significant IDF and mortar fire, so I'm not expecting much resistance from there. We still have 2 target identifiers, and we're just going to keep pushing across this right flank, up this hill, and eventually clearing everything out, securing the bridge, and securing this area. But overall, I think it's a pretty successful, we'll call it a left hook. No major casualties. 8 minutes in, doing pretty well. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Peace out.